Hey everyone, welcome to Random Access Megan. I am Megan. Today is all about my all-time favorite recipe of the wintertime, which is gluten-free and dairy-free shepherd's pie. Yum, 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 yum. Just thinking about it makes me hungry. Anyways, I want to share shepherd's pie because I feel like it's one of those recipes that people forget about, or it's one of those recipes that you haven't tried and it sounds complicated. I can let you know right now, it is not complicated. I am not actually going to show you how to cook it. What I did is I did snapshots of each stage of the cooking process. And the reason why is because I want to give you videos that are less than 4 or 5 minutes. So, to get started, what you need to have access to are all the ingredients below. What I typically do to start off is if I'm going to use pie crust, which pie crust is not required. So if you are like, wait, pie crust, that's an added carb, or even if it's gluten-free, I don't want it. I want it to be more on the healthy side. You can do that with just a casserole dish. So I'll show both of those directions down below. So now, that being said, what you need to do to prep. You need to start cooking your 1.5 pound of ground beef. You'll also need to start making your mashed potatoes by boiling the potatoes. Once your beef is all browned, what you'll want to do is add seasoning. Well, actually, while it's browning, you can add seasoning like salt, pepper, garlic, onion, and Italian seasoning. It's really entirely up to you on what type of flavor that you're looking for, but those are always my go-to seasoning on my side. If you wanted to have a little zing, you can add some paprika if you'd like. So once the beef is all brown, at that point, what you'll do is add the vegetables. When it comes to the vegetables and adding the vegetables, it's entirely up to you. I feel like every time I make shepherd's pie, I change the combination. But it's usually around 3 to 4 cups of vegetables, especially if you're going to do 2 pies or a casserole dish. So what I do is a cup of onion, cup of fresh green beans chopped up. Of course, everything's chopped up. A cup of carrots, and then a cup of corn. So I'll just let it sit in a measuring cup and wait until all the meat is brown. Once the meat is brown, I'll dump in the vegetables, and then I'll also add a cup of beef broth. So everyone's a little bit different. You don't have to use beef. You can actually use chicken broth if you're going to do ground chicken. You could do vegetable broth if you just don't want the extra meatiness. It's really entirely up to you. It's definitely something that you can swap in and out. And then after you add the broth, what you'll also do is add the tomato paste. I know it's super awkward. It's one of those random ingredients, but it actually helps meld the sauce together, and it doesn't make it super runny. Usually what people do to combat the runniness is put in some flour or gluten-free flour, and I actually kind of don't like doing that because then it makes it really pasty. So I do tomato paste, and it does wonders. Once that's all done, or once you simmer that for about 10-15 minutes, you'll notice that the sauce is thickening. You can tell that the tomato sauce, the bone broth, and all the juices from the vegetables and the meat have melded together, and then it's nicely simmering. I just turn off that saucepan, and then I mash my potatoes. Mashing the potatoes are super easy. I guess I can provide you a mashed potato recipe. It's 4 peeled potatoes, diced up, thrown into boiling water, and then from there, what I do is I mash the potatoes first, and then I add a stick of butter, mash it some more, sprinkle in some salt, and stir it up. Once the potatoes are done and once the filling is done and the pie crusts have been pre-cooked, I then put in the filling. Once the filling is done, or once the filling's in the pie crust, I then top it with the mashed potatoes. Once I fully top the mashed potatoes, doing about an inch layer, and then I smooth it on top or make a design. At that point, I put them both or the one casserole dish into the oven and cook it for about 30 minutes at 365. What I really want to do is make sure that the potatoes crust and they turn golden brown. If you felt that this video was helpful, please like it, share it, and of course subscribe to Random Access Megan. Enjoy your shepherd's pie. Bye everyone.